This morning, people across the U.S. are preparing for a winter storm like we haven't seen in years.
Plus, closer to home, not seeing the snow, but continuing to see these bitter cold temperatures. I'll talk more about it coming up.
And we're spotlighting a local band in this weekend's Morning Notes. Well, good morning, happy Saturday, and thanks for waking up with us this weekend. I'm Michelle Renee Quinn.
And I'm Jacob Madison. You're watching Weekend Mornings. It is Saturday, January 24th. And yes, we are not going to be seeing that snow that a lot of the U.S. will be seeing, but we're going to continue to be very, very cold this weekend.
Right. I mean, we don't have snow, but we've got the freezing temperatures, so
yeah,
might as well be snow.
Yeah, and we have snow on the ground that certainly ain't going anywhere, but let's take a look at the current temperatures. Negative 13 right now in Madison. Some areas are in the negative 20s, and these temperatures actually aren't too far off from what they were this time yesterday. The big difference, though, is this. Calm winds for just about everybody, and that's making the wind chills basically the exact same as the actual temperatures. So looking at the wind chills, I mean, these are basically the same as the temperatures, whereas yesterday the temperatures were similar to this, but the wind chills were near negative 40. So a little better today, but still very, very cold out there. And alert day conditions are expected to continue throughout the weekend into Monday morning. We're not going to see those negative 40-degree wind chills we saw yesterday, but still could see them drop as cold as negative 30 at times. So looking at the wind chills throughout the day, they're going to pretty much follow the temperatures, as we'll see very calm winds all day. The high will be around 0. That's also where the wind chills will be in the afternoon. But then they'll drop back below 0 Sunday morning and continue that trend through Monday morning. So I'll talk more in detail about when we'll finally warm up, and I'll also talk a little bit about that big winter storm that other parts of the United States will be dealing with.
Thanks, Jacob. We'll be checking in shortly. Now, these freezing temperatures can cause frostbite, and it can happen in minutes. Symptoms appear in 3 stages. Stage 1, frostnip, when the skin feels cold, numb, or painful, and may turn red or pale. At this point, get inside and treat with warm water, not hot water. Stage 2, superficial frostbite. You'll get the pins and needles sensation, stinging or swelling. Blisters often show up 12 to 36 hours later and may turn blue or purple. For this, get to a hospital or urgent care. In stage 3, deep frostbite, total numbness, skin becomes hard, turns white, blue, or black. Large blood-filled blisters may form a day later, and this requires immediate emergency medical treatment to avoid long-term damage or amputation. You can stay on top of these conditions by downloading the free First Warn Weather app. Find that wherever you get your apps. And the Madison Fire Department is asking everyone to be cautious when trying to stay warm. Space heaters, for example, come with a risk. Older space heaters have fewer safety features. Madison Fire suggests trying to use new ones. These can detect when something is inside the vent and will cool down if it gets tipped over. Firefighters are also wanting you to check up on your neighbors.
Everybody to check on their neighbors, make sure that they they go, and if you have elderly neighbors or somebody that might need a little bit of assistance, we really encourage, and please do check on your neighbors. Make sure everybody's okay in this cold.
Madison Fire adds that candles or stoves should never be used to retain heat in a home. Carbon monoxide can also be particularly dangerous this time of year. The poisonous gas hospitalizes more than 14,000 and kills more than 400 every year. Experts say you can reduce risk by using a carbon monoxide detector. The CDC says never to use a generator inside your home or garage, never heat your home with a gas oven, and never run your vehicle inside a garage attached to the house. In more local news this morning, the Dodge County Sheriff's Office has arrested a man following child sex crime investigation. Deputies executed a search warrant in the village of Hustiford, arresting 30-year-old Robert Gesh. Gesh is facing several charges, including first-degree sexual assault of a child and capture of an intimate representation. His cash bond is set at $5,000. He's currently in the Dodge County Jail. Meanwhile, Madison police are still looking for a man they say committed an armed carjacking, then sunk the vehicle in Monona Bay. It's now been more than 24 hours since police issued a report telling the public the suspect, 55-year-old Derek Newton, is armed and dangerous. Police say he has a gun and a knife. If you see him, call 911. And the dangerous weather raising concerns not only for people but also for animals. The Coulee Region Humane Society is one of the many organizations preparing for the cold snap. They say they see an increase of surrenders from those who can't get their pets out of the elements.
Unsheltered population, they have nowhere to go with their pets. They have nowhere warm. Some of the places won't allow pets in warming centers. We don't have as many warming centers, or they're not opened as often.
Early frostbite signs on your dog include lifting their feet or paws that are dry and red. And the Humane Society says Pet Safe Petroleum Jelly can help keep them warm. But avoiding long stays outside is your best bet. Now, a severe winter weather system impacting millions of Americans is likely to blanket cities with snow and ice across the country this weekend. Christine Benavides is reporting about half the country's population from the south to the northeast is bracing for impact.
The first snow has already started to fall in Texas and Oklahoma, part of a winter blast that has roughly 180 million people under a winter storm warning from the Rockies to the Northeast. In Boston, grocery stores were slammed and supplies were running low at this hardware store.
Yeah, we've been selling a ton of ice melt and shovels. We're running low on stock, but I think we should have enough for the storm.
At least 17 states and Washington, D.C. have declared states of emergency. In New York City, up to 18 inches of snow is forecast, 700 salt spreaders, and more than 2,000 sanitation workers will be deployed.
While we cannot control how much snow will actually fall this weekend, we can control how we prepare for and respond to this storm.
Down south, 18,000 utility workers were pre-positioned in the Carolinas, while at Tennessee State Operations Center, officials will monitor road conditions in real time. The Salvation Army in Arlington, Texas, is preparing overnight beds and meals for people seeking refuge from the storm. And in Austin, sanitation trucks have been treating the roads.
We are preparing for the worst because we never completely know what the weather is going to do in Texas.
Residents here worry about a repeat of a deadly ice storm in 2021 that overwhelmed the state's power grid system, leaving millions of people in the dark and cold.
The ERCOT grid has never been stronger, never been more prepared, and is fully capable of handling this winter storm.
The National Weather Service is calling this system a historic storm, packing a mix of ice and snow with extremely cold air on the back end. Christian Benavides, CBS News.
More than 3,000 flights were canceled nationwide today, and the system is expected to bring delays and cancellations for the next few days. Now, you're here and you're saying that we're not going to see much of this snow and ice. Now, why is that?
Well, it's kind of the fact that we're not going to see that goes hand in hand with the temperatures. So the reason the temperatures are so cold is because the jet stream, the polar jet stream, which is north of us when we're seeing those mild temperatures, that's really dipped south, and the further south it dips, the more it allows that cold air to come into the north. Now, how does this affect the system? Well, a lot of those systems kind of ride the jet stream, and because it's so far south of us, all the snow is south of us as well. Now, when that jet stream is just south of us and it allows us to be kind of in that 20 to 30 degree range, that's where we see those big snows, because the heaviest snows are just north of that jet stream, where the temperatures are just cold enough to see the snow, and because typically when the temperatures are warmer, it allows for a little bit more precipitation. So it kind of goes hand in hand.
Yeah. Who don't really know what the jet stream is, can you explain that a little bit?
So basically, it's a set of very gusty winds, usually about a mile or so up in the atmosphere.
Okay.
And basically, it's a little bit higher than that, excuse me, and it usually kind of blocks the warm air to the south and the cold air to the north. And so there's a very sharp distribution of temperatures from north of the jet stream and south of the jet stream. And so because the winds are so strong, it allows kind of all that precipitation to sort of ride the jet stream. And it typically crosses the United States a lot because we're in those middle latitudes, whereas the North Pole is always cold, the equator is always warm. We're kind of in that middle ground. So yeah.
Awesome.
So that's kind of why they go hand in hand. It's cold here. It's the same reason why the snow is south of us. But let's take a look at that snow, because a lot of the United States will be dealing with this snow. Here's a look at all the winter weather bulletins. All this pink are winter storm warnings. The purple just to the south are ice storm warnings. Meanwhile, here in Madison, we're under a cold weather advisory, but nothing in regards to snowfall in terms of winter weather advisories or winter storm warnings for our area. Some of the snow could clip the far southeastern portion of Wisconsin, but the big snows will certainly be south in the pink, even south south of that those areas could experience significant freezing rain as well. Going to impact the area throughout the day into tomorrow morning. By tomorrow night, that will move off to the northeast, but it will bring in potentially over a foot of snow to some of these areas, and some locations could potentially see their total average snowfall over the course of a season in one day, because these areas, they don't typically see as much snow as we do. We average close to 40 to 50 inches. These areas only average about 10 to 20, and some of those areas could see that amount of snowfall from the system. So a pretty big snow for those areas down south. Now, before we head to break, time for your morning motivational quote. Today, it's from George Bernard Shaw.
2 things define you: your patience when you have nothing, and your attitude when you have everything. This is a good one, because for the patient people out there, bless you. But for everybody else who's not patient, guys, we got to work for it. And when it comes, it's okay.
Yeah, and when you get to that point, they always, say, work hard, dream big, work hard. And then the last one, be humble. And so when you have the good attitude, once you get to the point that you're trying to get to.
Yes, and stay humble. And keep it here. After the break, we'll have a look at the stock market. And Josh Breiter joins us in the 608 with the Restaurant Week preview you don't want to miss. We'll be right back on Weekend Mornings.
You're watching News 3 Now this morning. Moving forward.
Welcome back. Developing right now, at least one person was killed and 4 are being treated for injuries after Russian missile attacks early this morning. Ukraine's Air Force said both drones and missiles had been deployed in the assault on the capital Kiev as well as Kharkiv. Kiev has endured 2 mass overnight attacks since the new year, knocking out power and heating to hundreds of residential buildings. The latest attacks occurred after negotiators from Ukraine, Russia, and the United States completed the first of 2 days of talks aimed at finding a resolution to the nearly 4-year-old war. Here are Friday's closing mixed numbers to end the week. On Wall Street, the Dow falling 285 points, but the Nasdaq gains more than 65. The S&P 500 added a little over 2. In the 608, this Sunday marks the start of Winter Restaurant Week in Madison. Josh Spreiter is breaking down the celebration of local cuisine.
This is a much-anticipated foodie event showcasing the city's diverse dining scene, and this time around you have more than 40 options to choose from. It's presented by our friends at Madison Magazine. From January 25th through the 30th, participating restaurants across the Madison Metro will offer 3-course menus starting at just $30. Some spots are also rolling out $20 lunch menus. It's a tasty way to try new flavors, support local eateries, and warm up during this chilly season. Highlights include everything from upscale steakhouses and cozy bistros to international cuisine and neighborhood favorites. I had a chance to sit down with the food editor of Madison Magazine.
Restaurant Week only happens twice a year, and this is a really great time to have a big event surrounding restaurants because a lot of restaurants are really slow this time of year, and they're really excited to have your business next week.
Restaurant Week has become one of Madison's most popular winter traditions, giving diners an affordable opportunity to explore a wide range of local restaurants. There are 42 taking part, so reservations are encouraged as spots fill up quickly. You can find a list of the restaurants along with their special menus on channel3000.com. And Winter Restaurant Week in Madison is more than just great food this year. We're partnering with the River Food Pantry to help feed neighbors in need. All week, diners are encouraged to donate money or non-perishable food items when visiting participating restaurants. Donations will help stock the new pantry at the River Food Pantry on Packers Avenue. You can also donate online via QR code or at collection boxes set up. It's a simple way to enjoy Madison's food scene and give back at the same time. In the 608, I'm Josh Spreiter.
You can also find Josh weekdays every morning and noon on News 3 Now. Let's check in now with meteorologist Jacob Montesano live from our studio in Madison. Hey, good morning.
Hey, Michelle, Renee. Alert day conditions are going to continue throughout the weekend. Now, the coldest of the wind chills has passed, but we're still going to see wind chills anywhere from -20 to -30. This is going to continue throughout the weekend and into Monday morning. Now, for the afternoon, wind chills may get up to right around 0, if not a little bit above it, because the temperatures will. And as I mentioned earlier, very little winds today, so the wind chills will basically be the exact same as the actual temperatures. But then the winds will pick back up a little bit for Sunday. Wind chills will be in the -10s to -20s to start the day, only improving to around -10 for the afternoon. Then Monday morning might be the second coldest morning in this stretch after yesterday morning, where the wind chills could get back to near -30, maybe even close to -35 levels. Then finally, we'll start to see the wind chills improve a little bit for Monday night and Tuesday, but it's going to be a slow improvement throughout the week as temperatures will still be cold for the middle of the week. Now, again, although the coldest of this air has passed, we still are expecting to see wind chills somewhere in this bracket at times, which would indicate we could see frostbite in as little as 20 to 30 minutes. So it's very important to continue to limit your time outside. And if you have a reason to be outside, make it very quick and bundle up. Now, as we take a look at the high temperature trend for the next 10 days, the high will be near 0 today, kind of between 5 and 7 Sunday and Monday. Again, it will be a very slow climb with those temperatures. Still going to have highs right around 10 to 15 through the end of the work week. Then we'll finally start to see temperatures getting close to normal again by next weekend. And that normal high, as you can see from the top, 27 degrees. And during all this, we're not really going to see much snow, just a few small chances of it. But we'll continue to see the snow that's on the ground stay there because it's way too cold for it to melt.
Yes, it is. Thank you, Jacob. In this week's playlist pick, we're previewing a local band in this weekend's Morning Notes. Ty Christian founded the band Lords of the Trident 17 years ago. It's a local power metal band, and they had a release party celebrating their new album live from Japan. Here's a sneak peek. Stick around. After the break, we share the full story in this weekend's Morning Notes. But first, Jacob will be back with a look at your full forecast on weekend mornings. And during the break, create a weekend playlist with us by sending me a song with the subject playlist pick, or if you know or are a part of a local band, get on our radar. Email me at mrquinn@WISC-TV.com and tune in on weekend mornings to hear your song.
You're watching News 3 Now This Morning. Moving forward.
Welcome back. Let's take a look at some of the coldest wind chills that were recorded yesterday morning. Those of you in Steuben, you guys had the coldest, negative 48 degrees. Madison's coldest wind chill was negative 41, La Crosse negative 46. Now, this will all, we're not going to see the wind chills be this cold for the next couple days, but it still will be cold with those temperatures slowly warming up to the point that once we get to early February, we may start to see some above average temperatures again. At the very least, it won't be as cold as it is right now. And as we take a look at the 10-day forecast, you can see very evidently those temperatures warming up, possibly getting into the middle and upper 20s by next weekend. Meanwhile, we're not going to see really any falling snow, although the snow on the ground still going to be there with those cold temperatures, but at the very least, it will get better, a little bit better by the middle of next week, but a lot better by next weekend.
I'm just happy to see those negatives get out of the forecast.
I'm with you. I like winter, but this is a little much. That's all I'll say.
Thanks, Jacob. Well, Lords of the Trident is a power metal band from Madison that just released their 13th album live from Japan. The band recently played Metal Fest at the High Noon Saloon, and our photojournalist Chris Hawbaker was there and brings us this month's Morning Notes.
We don't shower the audience with blood, usually. Yeah, guar. It's along those lines. There's a dramatic element for sure.
Lords of the Trident, we are a power metal band right here out of Madison. The best way to explain it is costumes, fire, explosion, confetti, and face-melting technical power metal. So for people who are unfamiliar with power metal, it's like a combination of opera and heavy metal. So it's not real screamy, and it's very like, wah, you have very sorry kind of vocals. Our costumes are varied. We are basically warriors throughout different eras of time that have come together to make the most metal band on earth.
The musicianship is serious, the playing is serious, the writing is serious, but we always try to have fun on stage.
The band started as a recording project in the UW-Madison dorms. We didn't actually think it was going to be an actual band. On our third show, we did a little CD release party. We were at the Frequency, rest in peace. We packed the place. I still don't know how we packed the place. It was insane, but it was just front to back people. Afterwards, we were down in the basement in the green room going like, well, I guess we keep going? And that was 17 years ago, and now we've toured the globe, and we're working on our 13th album. In terms of the members in the band, we have Akira Metal on lead guitar. I am Fang von Rathenstein on lead vocals.
You have a barbarian, you have a ninja, you have a death priest playing the bass.
We have Baron Torin Hellischar on lead guitar. We have Master Herc Schlagzeuger on lead drums. And can't forget Pontifex Mortis on the lead bass.
Exiled Prince, you have a drummer who is an archer who keeps his drumsticks in a quiver on his back. Something to look at that is not just jeans and a t-shirt, which is kind of the default setting for most bands. Having some separation between the guy who's just standing in the crowd and then the guy who's up on stage, so that when people do come out, it really is kind of an event and a show and something to behold.
Yeah, they're definitely, there are stage personas, and I think they're vehicles for us to essentially take our own personalities and kind of turn them up to 11. Our last EP that we came out with before this Live in Japan album that we're releasing tonight was called the VG EP, the video game EP. And a lot of our songs are based around video games that we enjoy.
Anyway, this next song is about a Super Nintendo game. It goes real fast. Are you guys a fan of fast songs?
So sometimes it's video games, sometimes a lot of it is fantasy based. Maybe a little bit of escape from real life where we can, sing in metaphor and tell a story. And if you can relate to that, that's wonderful.
So I think 2026 is going to be a great year for us, and I'm very excited to see what it has in store.
It's a show, it's a spectacle, there's fire, there's ripping guitars. It's anything you could possibly want out of a heavy metal show. We're right here.
Lords of the Trident are the most metal band and they're the most DIY band. They remain, after all these years, unsigned to a label, and they do everything themselves from recording to printing t-shirts. Now, before we head to break, here's a look at last night's winning numbers. Coming up in the next half hour, we're sharing this week's Time for Kids recipe for health. Stick with us. It's Weekend Mornings. Right now, we're making sure you know how to stay safe from this bitter cold.
And we're going to continue to see those bitterly cold temperatures throughout the weekend. I'll talk about how cold coming up.
Plus, if you've purchased beef, you might be eligible for some cash from an $87.5 million settlement. The details ahead. Hello, good morning. Thanks for waking up with us. I'm your Weekend Morning anchor, Michelle Renee Quinn.
And I'm meteorologist Jacob Montesano. It certainly feels like winter out there. And we're not alone, certainly, because a lot of the Midwest seeing very, very cold temperatures, places to our south seeing that big snow coming up. A lot of winter is happening for sure.
Yeah.
So I hope you enjoy those mild temperatures to start January, because they're not coming back, at least not to the levels they were anytime soon.
No, and if you're headed outside at all today, make sure you bundle up because we got negative, negative, negative.
Yes, let's take a look at the temperatures. Everyone in the negative. In fact, everyone is in the negative double digits. Now, the good news compared to yesterday, actual temperatures aren't too far off from yesterday, but the winds are very, very calm right now, and they are expected to be calm throughout the entire day. So the wind chills are the exact same as the actual temperatures, and they will be the exact same as the temperatures basically all day, but those temperatures aren't really going to rise all that much still. So we're going to continue to see alert day conditions throughout the day. Wind chills as cold as negative 20 to negative 30 at times, especially for Monday morning, where that could be the second coldest day in this stretch. Nothing will be as cold as it was yesterday morning, but still could get to that dangerously cold level. Looking at the wind chill forecast, again, they are going to be very similar to the actual temperatures, but highs today are only going to be around 0. So it's going to be a very cold weekend. There is some kind of good news in the forecast. It will get better, but still going to be on the colder side. I'll talk about when coming up a little bit later.
Thank you, Jacob. Right now, shelters and warming centers are open to help those in need. Middleton's Police Department lobby is open 24/7 as a warming center, and most city libraries are open as well. The Middleton Library Director says a lot of people were using the space yesterday, especially since Middleton students didn't have class.
We generally see an uptick in days like this, and our parking lot's always busy, and tables are full, and chairs are being sat in.
In addition to the library, Middleton's police department lobby, like we mentioned, is open 24/7. Now, here are some Saturday hours for public libraries across the area open as warming centers. In Verona, the public library is open from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., Adams County 10 to 2, Lodi 9 to 1, and in Madison 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. As always, you can find Wisconsin 211 resources for extreme heat or cold near you. Now, there are steps you can take at home to prevent any damage from this dangerous cold. Home inspectors recommend clearing the snow off your roof and cleaning your gutters so when the ice melts, it drains away from your home. To prevent a burst pipe, keep your faucets dripping inside. Outside, keep them covered to avoid a pricey water leak.
How much money could people have to shell out if this happens to them?
It's thousands. It could be tens of thousands.
That's for pipe freezings. Now, another major issue is power outages. If you do lose power, don't try and use things like propane heaters or generators inside your home. Inhaling the fumes could be deadly. In this year, many homeowners will face higher costs to heat their homes. The National Energy Assistance Directors Association says the average household will pay just under $1,000 to heat their homes. That's an increase of just over 9%. Officials at local utility companies, Alliant Energy and Madison Gas and Electric, say they sent their natural gas and electricity rates at the start of the year. Now, the Citizens Utility Board points to rising natural gas prices as the main reason. And if you do need help, there are several tools you can find on channel3000.com.
Prices were going to go up with normal weather in the Midwest, but if you factor on much colder weather instead of normal weather, ouch! That's why it hurts so much. Their eyebrows are going way up, or their jaws are dropping when they're seeing their bills.
The Citizens Utility Board says you can expect to pay about $100 more this heating season. And like we said, we do have some resources on channel3000.com. Now, immigration officials are defending their actions after the 5-year-old detained by ICE agents in Minnesota this week is being held in Texas with his father. Video shows Liam Ramos and his dad, an Ecuadorian asylum seeker, being taken into custody outside their home just north of Minneapolis. DHS says agents attempted to reunite the child with his mother, but she refused to open the door.
So the child is in the least restrictive setting with a family member. I don't think it gets any better than that.
I heard one neighbor say, I live in this house. I'm part of this family. I can take him, let him come to me. I heard another neighbor on the other side say, I have the forms. His mom signed the forms. Let me have him. I know him. I know him.
An attorney says the family entered the country in 2024 at a border crossing and has been going through the immigration process. Ramos, a preschooler, was the 4th student from the Columbia Heights Public School District to be detained by immigration officials in the past week. 8:36 now for our Time for Kids, a recipe for health. This week's tip: set an alarm for success at school. Without good sleep, kids can struggle in the classroom, and Dr. Rupa Shah, wellness coach and family medicine physician at SSM Health, says keeping a regular bedtime and wake-up time boosts focus, learning, and behavior at school. She recommends a consistent schedule during the weekdays and weekends because breaking that routine can undo those healthy habits built during the school week. In addition to consistent sleep times, Dr. Shah encourages parents to focus on sleep hygiene.
When we talk about a sleep hygiene routine, it's saying like, okay, an hour before bed, we're going to take a nice warm shower. Then we're going to read together, and then we're going to do lights out, and everyone's going to go to bed, right? But setting those cues so that their bodies are ready to get into a good night's sleep.
Dr. Shah says figure out how much sleep your child needs and then set the start of the routine based on that. The American Academy of Sleep Medicine recommended toddlers get 11 to 14 hours, including naps. Preschool-age children, 10 to 13 hours, including naps. And kids 6 to 12, 9 to 12 hours. Teens, 8 to 10. You're watching Weekend Mornings. Ahead, we check in with senior Packers writer Jason Wilde. But first, in your consumer news, find out if you get a one-time cash payment from the $87.5 million class action settlement.
You're watching News 3 Now this morning. Moving forward.
Welcome back. In a class action suit, Tyson and Cargill Beef are settling for $87.5 million. That's after allegedly causing consumers to pay more for their beef. Now, you might be eligible for a one-time cash payout if you purchase certain products between August 2014 and December 2019. You're looking at the settlement website right now. This all comes as Tyson and Cargill Beef, among other distributors, came to an agreement that stopped competing against each other for market shares, allegedly raising the price of beef products for consumers. Now, the exact payout amounts vary depending on the number of claims filed with the settlement, and it's based on the amount of beef purchased. If this affects you, you have until June 30th to submit your claim and get the benefits. Again, this is beef products made from chuck, loin, rib, or round primal cuts. The settlement does not include products marked as premium, specialty, or processed. This affects people who live in Wisconsin, Illinois, Iowa, Michigan, and Missouri, to name a few. And remember, that's August 2014 through December 2019. You'll need proof of purchase to receive benefits, and you can find the link to submit your claim attached to the story on channel3000.com. 8:42 now. Let's check in with meteorologist Jacob Montesano live from Madison.
Thanks, Michelle Renee. Looking at a general forecast for today, highs will be near zero. We will see plenty of cloud cover. That system that's tracking across the United States might bring some light snow to far southeast Wisconsin, but beyond that, we should be pretty dry. The good news is that tomorrow morning, it won't be as cold temperature-wise as this morning, or yesterday morning for that matter. The winds will pick up just a little bit during this time, so the wind chills will be just about the same. We're going to continue to be cloudy for tonight. Then we'll see a decent amount of sunshine tomorrow as those temperatures get above zero, but will still be a little bit breezy during that time, so wind chills will stay below zero, and the temperatures will slowly incline from there. We are going to see highs back in the double digits, maybe as early as Tuesday, but certainly by the end of the week, and then next weekend, we could see the 20s return. So there is some better news in the forecast, and towards the end of the 10-day forecast, we'll see those highs back near average.
Jacob, thank you. The Packers' search for a defensive coordinator is heating up, and News 3 Now's senior Packers writer Jason Wilde has the latest.
Another day, another prospective Packers defensive coordinator interviewing with Coach Matt LaFleur. The latest, Jonathan Gannon, the former Arizona Cardinals head coach. Now, the Cardinals didn't win very many games this season, 3 to be exact, and they didn't win their game against the Packers back in October. But in that 27-23 Packers victory, the Cardinals frustrated Matt LaFleur and quarterback Jordan Love to no end. They managed just 262 net yards on the day. Love had one of his worst statistical performances of the season. And after the game, Matt LaFleur made it clear it was the Cardinals' defense that made his life miserable.
I would say from an offensive standpoint, it was a very frustrating day overall in regards to they did a hell of a job of keeping an umbrella on the defense. There weren't many looks where we could throw the ball down the field. It was one of those dink and dunk type games. Not that we didn't get a couple shots downfield, but they were playing pretty soft and took a lot of things that we wanted to do or that we saw on tape away and just try to make us play perfect, which we were far from perfect. So give credit to them. I got a lot of respect for those guys. Gannon, I think, does a hell of a job. Rollis does a hell of a job. Like, those guys are really good coaches.
Now, Gannon is the fourth known candidate to interview with the Packers for that defensive coordinator job, but Matt LaFleur is certainly not done. I am told that he still does want to speak with Jim Leonard, the former Badgers defensive coordinator and interim head coach, who is now the defensive passing game coordinator and assistant head coach of the Denver Broncos. Problem is, the Broncos are playing in Sunday's AFC Championship game against the New England Patriots, a game you can watch right here, kicking off at 2 o'clock. When that game is over, the Packers can ask for permission to speak with him, and they have a 1-week window if the Broncos have advanced to Super Bowl 60. If the Broncos season is over, obviously Jim Leonard's schedule opens up a bit. We've got full coverage of this search and everything else Packers on our website, channel3000.com. And don't forget while you're there to sign up for our Packers newsletter. In Green Bay, Jason Wilde, channel3000.com.
Thanks, Jason. Still ahead, sports director Andrew Banstra has everything we need to know Badgers.
But first, I'll be back with a full look at your first warn forecast. You're watching Weekend Mornings. Keep it here. Welcome back. Here's a final look at the 3 things you need to know. We're going to continue to be bitterly cold this weekend with some snow possible for southeast Wisconsin, very light snow. But beyond that, we're not going to see much of it. It will mostly stay south of us, and the temperatures will get better throughout next week and especially by next weekend. But we'll still have those alert day conditions this weekend through Monday morning, and at times we could even see wind chills back in the negative 20s. Now, right now, we certainly are seeing those wind chills kind of in the negative teens to negative 20s, but as I mentioned, the winds are very calm, so that's just basically what the temperatures are. That's going to be the case all day with highs near 0. Then we'll see the winds pick up just a little bit overnight, leading to wind chills in the negative teens to negative 20s, staying in the negative teens to maybe negative single digits throughout the afternoon Sunday. Then Monday morning will be the second coldest morning during this stretch after yesterday, where we could see some negative 30s return, finally getting better by the time we get to Monday night. And Tuesday morning, the wind chills will likely still be a little bit below 0, just not quite as below 0 as they will be for Sunday, Monday, or even right now. Now, as we take a look at where we're going to see the wind chills in terms of how quickly you can get frostbite, we'll be in this yellow box the next couple of days at times, which still equates to frostbite in 20 to 30 minutes. So it's still advised to bundle up if you have anywhere to be, and if you do have to be outside, make it very, very quick. Now, looking at the snowfall chances, again, not really going to see much of it. Staying pretty dry, but we are going to stay cold even when we warm up a little bit. Highs will be in the teens next week with lows still near 0. But then next weekend, highs will be in the 20s with lows possibly in the teens. So it is going to be much closer to normal for this time of year. Again, still on the colder side next weekend, and certainly the middle of the week will be cold, but a lot better compared to this weekend and especially yesterday morning, where some areas saw those wind chills in the negative 40s.
After getting swept by Michigan State last weekend, Wisconsin men's hockey took a small but significant dive in the rankings nationally. But after all, this is the Big Ten every week, a battle, and last night was every bit of that. Getting chippy from the jump, the Badgers on a power play thanks to a Penn State major penalty, and they'd convert. Tyson Dick dips it past the keeper. Bucky would score a pair of first-period goals on that man advantage, but everything changed after the first period. Penn State comes back and wins a big one. A bad night for the Badgers, losing 7-2. Make it 5 straight wins for Wisconsin men's basketball after pummeling Penn State. Believe it or not, during their streak, they've been the most efficient offense in the nation. A key piece to that has been Braden Carrington, who scored 11 points per game, shooting 50% from deep during that stretch, which begs one simple question. Here's a sneak peek into the Wisconsin huddle. And whether it be John or yourself or Nolan or Nick, you name it, the question is, and we don't ask a ton of really hard questions here on the Wisconsin Huddle, but I've got to ask one, how good can this team be this year?
I think we can be really good. I think we can win this conference. I think we can make a deep run in the tournament. And I think we're hitting our stride right now. You want to play your best basketball towards the end of the season. I think we're probably halfway to that right now. I think by the time March comes, end of February, I think we'll be to the peak of where we should be, and if not, still improving as we're going into March and hopefully making a run.
To watch this week's episode in its entirety, just head to the internet and search Channel 3000 Wisconsin Huddle. The college football season is officially over, and Wisconsin season has been over for almost 2 full months. Luke Fickell, in his first time speaking to us since, pointed out something that I think everyone was already well aware of.
Nobody's, naive to not think that there's a gap between where we are and where we want to be and where the top of this league is. To be honest, I mean, we are not there. And there's a gap between where they are and where we are. And that gap can be closed with talent, which what I explained is I think we closed some of that gap with talent, but that gap's not completely closed. And so the way that which you play together, the way that which we bring them together, the way that which we coach.
That's your morning sports fix. Have a wonderful weekend.
Thanks, Andrew. You too. The road to Super Bowl 60 continues on CBS this weekend with the AFC Championship. Drake May and the Patriots head into Denver to take on the Broncos. Kickoff is Sunday at 2 p.m. right here on CBS. Keep it here. We're back after the break.
You're watching News 3 Now this morning. Moving forward.
Welcome back. Madison Restaurant Week starts tomorrow, so I know you mentioned you tried Bassett Brunch Club. How was it?
I loved it. I've been there a few times, actually. That's one of our go-to breakfast places, but I actually haven't been to a lot of the other places, though. I need to get on top of that.
Absolutely. I can tell you, La Polla Colombiana, I went there last year. It was incredible. 10 out of 10 recommend. And this year, I know for Restaurant Week, I will be trying this African restaurant. They have jollof rice, which is like this spicy rice. I had it with my Nigerian friends in grad school. It's so good. It's called Les Delices de Agua. That's the restaurant. So I'm going to try it and we'll see how it goes.
I've never heard of that rice, I'll be honest.
Well, I will bring you some if there's any leftovers.
Okay, let's do some quick morning motivational quotes today. It's from George Bernard Shaw. 2
things define you: your patience when you have nothing and your attitude when you have everything. Thanks for watching Weekend Mornings. Up next is Lucky Dog Reunions, and our next newscast is coming up at 6 p.m. Join us tomorrow morning live from 6:30 to 8.